Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the day after Christmas. It is Tuesday, December 26th, 2023. I've missed everybody here. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. It's still kind of a holiday week until after the first of the year. So we do have the markets open for this week, but it will be thin trading. And a lot of traders have basically stepped out of the room until after the first of the year. So do expect 2024 to be another year of volatility. We will be watching the main market risk indicator, the Manorino market risk indicator. This compilation of the relative strength of the dollar and the 10-year yield has done actually a really good job that you can just take a look at and assess kind of in an instant where it's at. So for this morning, we've actually got the relative strength of the dollar and the 10-year yield kind of staying the same, but also looking at dropping a bit. So with that, we've got stocks in the green. Equities are kind of rising on this slowly, and the futures are in agreement that this would be relatively slow bullish day. So we've got oil coming back and recovering. Gold has been making small moves higher. And so the last reports that we got for the year that do affect the Federal Reserve's decision on the rate hikes is in. So while we are getting some reports this week, pretty much typical of the month, they're going to have much less effect unless they are way off their marks. So quite a few reports, the jobless claims will probably be the most significant ones because watching the unemployment now is truly what will affect how they move going forward. So the sentiment basically are sleepwalking markets, thin trading, low volume, and a slow continuance, in this case upward. So unless there's major headline news or something to happen to break this off, it's kind of probably going to be kind of a quiet trading day. So futures edging higher with strengthening rate cut bets, as we were talking about. But moving into what's really going on in the economy, we had this report come out by Bankrate. And the bottom line of it is that the United States adults have more credit card debt now than they do savings. And the jump is enormous. So it went from 2021, 21% were in this position to now 36% of adults have more credit card debt than savings. And then coupled with that, there was another report talking about more people fell behind on credit card bills this year. So that means that are not paying or paying late. So I expect that trend to continue until something breaks with that. We've also got Germany's kind of the bellwether for Europe. They are the spending and production powerhouse of Europe, so at least Western Europe. And they were spending less for Christmas. So their retail association reported their numbers for Christmas spending, and this included their online numbers. And it was down significantly from what they were expecting. So not a really good harbinger, or exactly as they say, they had a very poor start. So, and that their expectations were not met. So they're still battling their inflation and their issues there. So everyone is talking about who the first one is going to be making the rate cuts. It could be the EU. So this is the harder part that we're going to look before real changes are made, and that is actually unemployment. And they're talking about 2023 being the year of layoffs, but that's only in comparison to the previous years. So we had larger companies laying off. But the reason I say this is because the projected forward looking of companies to lay off for this year will be much larger in numbers. And this is kind of a sobering number that banks cut 60,000 jobs in one of the worst years for cuts since the financial crisis. The bulk of these jobs were in the mortgage industry and related to that, since real estate basically came to a standstill. However, since the great financial crisis kind of shows you where we're headed. And in my opinion, the unemployment rate is probably going to double prior to them taking any action really on those on the rate cuts from the Fed. So, other news, we've got India and Russia basically trading directly rubles and rupees. They are ditching the dollar. We knew about this, but the reason I'm bringing this up is number one, for if there's any new viewers in here to see exactly what is going on. But number two, it's beginning to accelerate. And I'll show you how much it's beginning to accelerate in our next story. So, with Russia, they're working on a payment mechanism in order to switch rubles in direct trade with Italy. So, this will be the first European Union country that they are openly making direct trade with outside of the dollar. So, this is significant. They're talking about having this ready by February of 2024, a couple of months from now. And then I wanted to introduce you, if you do not know who this is Elvira, the governor of the Bank of Russia. And the US has threatened more sanctions. The President Biden administration, current administration, saying that they're bracing for more sanctions because they have threatened these. So she looks pretty serious there. I don't know that I would make Elvira mad. So, moving forward to our trade stories, because we were talking about how this could have a serious effect on the economy. And the way that this is playing out, it looks forced. So, I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. This is talking about the Red Sea crisis, running risks of new inflation. So, when these attacks happened, most of the trade either stopped or rerouted to go around the Suez Canal. So, we've got coincidentally two major shipping giants. First, Maersk, that has decided to resume Red Sea operations as long as they are under direct protection of the United States. And we've got Hapag-Lloyd is supposed to make their decision by Wednesday about going back through this route. So this to me looks like there is an awful lot of external influence, if you will, in order to get them to get back to that area. And I think this is because they realize the implications of what could happen if this is allowed to continue for extended periods of time. So now time for lava updates. We'd like to go through a few things. So France is hosting the 2024 Olympics in Nice, and they're enhancing their law enforcement. This is talking about using artificial intelligence integrating with their network of cameras throughout the area. And they're going to be using advanced features like facial recognition and movement algorithms, which means basically they're measuring your gait in order to identify people, to detect infractions and suspicious activities. So this is kind of, along with this question, fully Orwellian, or is it still a while off? So there's a lot of concerns about privacy, but nobody's doing anything about this. And so this is still being allowed to continue. However, will they take them down when the Olympics are over? I doubt it, because this is how a lot of things are ushered in. It is kind of left and people forget about them. Okay, along with this, another control method is fear. And I have kind of seen this personally, and it is pretty horrible. They call it zombie deer disease. And basically, it's wasting disease, is what they're talking about. And they're trying to curtail this. And it seems to be spreading out in the West a bit, but there are new fears that it could spread to humans. So I don't know that I can get behind that. They are or where this came from, but I'll keep you up to date on anything that we see on this. This has been around now since at least 2017 that I have been aware of. So, and then this other story, which seems a bit bizarre, but you'll know when I tell you about this. So, they're talking about America's dietary shift in recent decades going towards chicken and cheese, not just contributing to concerns about health of Americans, but taking a major undocumented toll on underground water supplies. So Again, we spoke about this before. They're targeting water and they keep floating out these stories. So, this is kind of the next thing that I expect that they will be going over. So, there are ways, no matter where you are, to create your own source of water, a lot of it through evaporation and recatchment. But anyway, won't go into that now. For now, I just want to wish you a green trading day or just a wonderful day in general if you're not trading. Thank you so much. It's great to be back with you all. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.